would do the same kind of concept with a jacket, right? I grab the jacket and yank, right? And as I do, he'll either move or he's gonna try to stabilize himself. And then when he pushes that weight down to that leg, that's when I'm gonna take it. In this situation, I'm gonna use the arm for this. So I can either do it from here, yank, and if he doesn't give me anything, I can turn it into something else, right? Back to our combos. But he's gonna sink, right? He sinks to resist this movement, and then I can just plow through. I can do it this way too. I can step in as I do it. I prefer to have it in flux. This is all, again, dependent on the person that you're dealing with. But I do this and I yank it. This may be too slow, right? This may be to where I took away my momentum. But in flux, I try to combine the two together. It's like I bend and I try to drive myself into it. Yeah. You want that little yank out of the guy, right? Again, easy to do with a jacket too, and we'll look at that, but out there on the street, this guy throws a punch or something, yeah, boom, I'm able to do the move. Put it into context. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna grab this guy and start doing this, but that's where Shuai Chiao and Shuai Chiao are different. Meaning, Shuai Chiao with a C versus with a J, the people that are doing the J are more interested in the sport, in my personal opinion. And with the C, Shuai Chiao, that's my Qigong's method. And to me, it's much more based in application. My Sifu and his peers, like Master Lin that passed away, to them it was all about combat, kicks and punches, locks, controls, throws, and that type of a mindset. And that's great, and you can utilize that more by stripping it apart to go compete in Sanda or go compete in Shuai Chiao, the sport, but still maintain this core methodology for being able to use for application in a physical altercation in the street. So again, seize and yank, and right in. Here, and like I said, kind of in flux. So think like you're squishing you down as you go to snap his arm, and then that force that you used to push down, the reaction force, is going to catapult you forward. You're going to use that to help you to drive him back. So from here, squeeze and he does it to me. He doesn't want that disconnect, right? Like think like this. It's like you're just like in the Tai Chi, right? You're compressing everything, right? And then you're going to expand, right? You contract, and then you're going to expand. Well, yeah. The more he uses his legs, especially his buttocks. So, like when we do a pair of closing in Master Chung's Tai Chi, if you notice how much I'm loading the legs, the core, and the buttocks to be able to do this, to drive this action out. And you think it's basically the same premise, right? Up here, and I load everything really big, right? And then drive yourself out. Yeah, take the paws out, right? Yeah. Better. Okay. Downward pulling. Downward pulling is going to use this kind of a tie up. The downward pulling, remember, you're the center, the hub. You're not the outside wheel. If you do it where you make yourself the outside, he can sink his weight in the middle and make it hard for you. And then when you do have a hesitation or a pause, it's easy for him to take that force that he's been using to sink himself. Pull me, please. It's easier for him to use this to drive out with now. But if you always make yourself the center And as you go to spin him around, just take steps and turn. You see how I'm kind of leaning out? Look. I want to have him feeling like he's rolling out on the edge, and I'm on the inside, and I'm moving this way. So I can take advantage of that when I feel like I need to, or when he takes a pause or a hesitation, and he puts the weight somewhere on one leg, I can attack it. But again, if I try to pull him from the outside of it, he's the one really that has the advantage. So, same thing, I'm using my arm and my torso to try to control, and then my hand's here on his elbow, and here, right? And I'm going to step and I turn. All right, do it again. So here, I step and I turn. I step and I turn. If you watched the video we did last week, we looked at, I think, 10 or 12 different throws utilizing this loose tie-up. Now, this loose tie-up goes great with Sanda as well, even with the boxing gloves, the way that I'm trying to utilize my body. But downward pulling or wheeling concept is an excellent movement for striking grappling range. It's excellent for Sanda as well. I suggest anybody train it. And the more throws that you can work off of it or combos, the better. So sometimes when I do this, I'm going to push him or I'm going to pull at him. But again, we're not really trying to get too detailed with the throw, but look, I need this, right? This kind of movement with my body. And somewhere in there, I'm going to take a step, right? So if I force against him, he's either going to do one or two things, right? He's either going to push back or he's going to try to turn. And if he tries to, if I do this and he tries to just step out, it's even easier for me, right? So the pushing steps makes it easier for me to turn him. If I'm in here and I go to push and he goes to resist it, right? You think that it's easier for him, but look, he's this way, his power's this way. If I step over here, I'm going to pull him into this void. This works great with a jacket too, or a street jacket. You know, you got on your winter coat, and or the guy's got on a coat and grab a hold of the lapel like this. But again, don't recommend. I'm always relying on that. But can I get these grips and use them? So he does it to me. Try not to do it with your arms. Try to do it with the whole of you. Right? So as I push, look, one clean motion. I don't want to like yank, right? It's just next one, twist and spring. Twist and spring is now incorporating a leg with your downward pulling or your wheeling concept. And really, again, like if you looked at the other video, it's not so much that it's a combination, but it's utilizing this type of gripping action with these type of leg or body positions. And so, twist and spring always comes to mind as the initial movement. And when I learned these back in the early 90s, the downward pulling and the twist and spring were kind of taught to me at the same time. And then later I realized that the downward pulling control feature, if you're not using a jacket or a jacket, as we'll explain in one of the next videos, that there are all of these different throws that I can use from there as long as I have the right angle, position, using the right leg maneuver, right? Anyway, so here we go with the twist and spring. So I'm in here, I'm going to use the same type of grip again, right? And I'm going to step, not unlike where I stepped while ago, but instead of me sinking my weight, I'm going to force against his head and roll this arm under. And yes, this can be done with boxing gloves too. It's the way that you do it. So from here, I'm going to pull this under and push this across. There's that kind of like that wheeling concept. And I'm going to take my steaming stance and scoop the leg up. Now, this move, I've been doing this for like, I don't know, more than 20 years, using it as a combo like this, hooking this leg, and using kicking. And that is all well and good, but I can also just do 2 twist and springs. And I'll show what I mean by that. So I've got this, I step, and I lift this leg, and I can always come back and lift this leg. And I will turn that into, like, I can do it as horizontal throw, right? It's a good combo. But here, sweep, hook, kick. But anyway, but we got this grip. We're going to step, scoop the leg out, toes pointing toward his heel. Over here, and I'm going to kind of step and yank, right? Like that, to kind of cast his weight over. As I do a scoop. Again, here, and remember, as I do my steaming steps, I'm going to push. Push a scoop. You do it, please. Okay. You have to keep moving with the motion. So just lifting the leg is not enough. You have to kind of guide the mass. Right? So if I get this, right, I shove it across, and I scoop this up. But look, I kept pushing into his neck and pulling his arm so that I could guide him and put him where I want him. See? Here, and then look, I keep pushing. I need that, especially if I'm going to do pins and controls or follow-on strikes on the ground. Okay? I need to stay with it. Now, if my objective is just to throw him and get out of there, then just toss and spin and keep moving. Next one, arm circling throw. Just put this on here. Okay, arm circling throw. So I'm going to have there's, if I'm using both hands and I'm trying to grip his arms, there's 3 kind of primaries, like both thumbs up, both thumbs down, 1 thumb down, and 1 thumb up. Okay? So think this is my initial attachment range where I'm trying to enter or to control the bridge that I can execute throws, but then I have from here to here where I'm trying to control the torso. And down here, I'm trying to use this, instead of making a strike, I've grabbed, and I'm using this to help me to enter into the bridge range. So with this particular movement, I got 1 hand up and 1 down, just for, we'll just say for doing this motion. As I go to do this arm circling throw, I'm going to force his arm back and under. If I don't, and you don't do anything, and you try to reach into here like this, he's going to either jam your arm, lock your arm, punch you. You need to control these. Especially the movements where I'm turning around, I want to be able to control something to get it. So we're just using this fundamental tie-up. And work these with a partner. Like here, look, like say he's got me, and look, you can work these. And pressure test them all day long if you want, right? And just work with the movement. So another little practice thing. But anyway, we're just using it for us right now to get this movement. So I'm here, and again, I'm going to force this arm back as I step in. I'm going to try to use my weight to do it. Now, if he resists pushing, I don't care. I'll just go underneath it. If I'm doing it and he pulls it away, I don't care, because that's what I wanted anyway. But don't just leave the arm hanging. If you do, he's going to use it, right? It's no different than I'm out here and I'm going to kick and strike, right? And I'm using this kick and this movement to keep him from kicking me, right? Or dancing on me or being able to put too much weight on the front leg to be able to punch with his hand, right? The more I can keep that weight off, the harder he can still hit me, especially if he's taller and he's got a longer reach. But I'm going to take away some of the force or power that he can generate by not letting him put weight on the leg, right? So if you think, same premise, right? I'm doing these things to get these bridges, to get, to enter, to be able to execute the throw. If I'm not striking and I'm just grappling with him, I want to use this to help me to get his torso, right? So say I'm here and I push and I let it go and I'm going to come underneath. And if like this. So again, don't just do this. It's real easy for him to grab your head or to wrap your arm, right? But look, if I push into his scapula and in between the ball and the socket here and just force into this, it is harder for him to do those grips. And then if I'm able to do it and kind of moving with it, that's what makes it work great. So here, I push it under and I lift the leg. Now, you can go inside leg or outside leg. I'm using, so if he had on a jacket, I'd be using the sleeve or here or the belt in which to move him, right? I've got all of this fabric that's attached to him. This hand here, I would even use it this way with fabric, or I could even go down here to his belt and then it changes the whole thing. But here like that, the control of it, right? And so come over here, do it. So I got this elbow control. I've got his arm under here, and as I push through, I go to lock somewhat the shoulder, and then from here I'm going to lift and lift. When I pull, I want to pull his arm under. If I don't, when I throw him, it will be hard. He'll go like this, and if he's like a lot smaller than me, you know what I mean, like 50 pounds lighter than me or something, I can probably flip him all the way over. And yeah, that can be kind of dangerous, whatever, for the sport. What I'm getting at is try to use your offhand to help you to roll him, right? It's like this, if he's facing like this, you'll see what I'm saying. So I'm rolling this under, see? And this hand, right, you can have it open or as a fist, but think you're punching, you're going to punch the ground, right? You're going to punch the ground. And it will help you to really get more out of the throw. So, once more, I'm here and I got this grip, right? I'm here, and I force this through, and I step, and I look. Now, if I do it to the outside leg, it takes a lot more energy, right? But look, I'm here like this, and my foot is in the middle, and I'm going to step and I'm going to put this one in the middle. And then from here, I'm going to catch him above the knee at a diagonal. He does it to me. Just do the inside leg. Yeah. He's got everything good and tied up, right? He lifts, and you got to keep pulling, right? If he doesn't keep pulling, I'm going to fall on him on his legs. It's not going to get him a clean move. Right? Again, I'm here like this. Won't get so wide. All right. So from here, right, my foot's here. I'm going to do my seating stance, and I'm going to use this arm to help me to pull, and this one's going to drive up. I've got to pull him. I'm going to pull this real hard. Oh! Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Okay. And what do we got next? Next round. start with this open tie up again. Heck, I could even be here, and let's say I push on this arm. I start pushing on it. He's going to resist. He's either going to pull his arm free, and I'm going to get my hand in there, or I'm going to be pushing on it, and he's going to resist it, and I'm going to get my hand on it. So here, I push, hand comes up, right, from here. But look, I'm just going to wrap. As I wrap, I'm going to take my stealing stance, and I'm going to pull this arm again, and I'm going to twist the upper body and lift. Again, here, he breaks free. I go for the head, and inside leg lifting. Outside leg lifting. I push, you resist, and my hand comes up. And look, you can T-bone the guy really good with the forearm. May sound like a dirty move, but in the wrestling aspect of it, you should be able to feel when you're doing tearing and things like that, you're literally punching the person. So from here, I've got this arm, pull, wrap, and lift. All right. We have lower body control, leg blocking. It could be leg lifting too. Same thing. We had somewhere where we started to get a grip, right? And it doesn't really matter to me. I started down here at the wrist or what have you, or maybe you just came in, boom, and that works too. You're in here like this, and you think the guy wants to grapple with you, just jam it and start getting a hold of something. Don't play this game. So what? Anybody can do that. Walk in and boom. Take his space. Overwhelm him. This isn't overwhelming anything. You get it? It's just basically point sparring. Right? I want to make him have to commit to something, and even if it's a street application or not. So if I get these, that's cool. If I get this, that's cool. Right? And then look. Even if I go to do this and he goes to jam me and do something else, who cares? I got the action rolling, didn't I? That's what I want. And in my teacher's approach from his teacher is that I'm constantly trying to, when I start to attack with you, my feet are trying to contact you, my arms are trying to contact your bridges, my feet are trying to contact your legs, and when I get the right angle, position, and attachment, I'm going to execute a throw. And I'm not going to give you breathing room, right? I don't want to do that. If it's in your mind, you can't de-escalate the situation, or you know that it's going to lead to an altercation, then you got to put your full self into it. Okay, so how I got it, I got this control and this arm here, and we're going to do just like we did with the other, right? Instead of pushing up here and getting him to pull free or to resist it, we did it earlier when we went under the arm too, right? We're going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to push against this, and he's either going to pull it away or he's going to resist. And that's fine. You turn yourself inside, and when you turn, sink. Don't turn and then sink. If you do that, it's too slow, and it's easier to get countered. What do I mean by that? So look, if I'm like this, and forget about the hands for a second, but I'm going to go in to do hip throw or lower body control. And I'm here like this. If you do this and then this, it's too slow. You can practice it, you can pressure test it, right? But look, I'm going to go from here, and look, I sink into it right away. And then look, I pushed all this force down, and I'm going to use that driving action force back up right away. Does it to me. If he has to adjust or sink after, it's too late. And then two, his legs are too wide. Let's look at it like this. He's got this position, and look, even if he sinks and he wants to straighten his legs out,